Good morning, everyone. We are continuing over here in the grand finale of the Mesillas Yesharim. We finished the main body of the work yesterday, B'chazdei Hashem, and today we go into the epilogue. And the epilogue says the following. It's called the Chasima. Amar Mechaber, the author says, this is the Ramchal himself speaking. Hapam oides Hashem ashir v'amera. Now that I completed the Mesillas Yesharim, I want to thank Hashem and sing praises to Him. Asher adheina azaruni rachamav. Until now, His mercy has aided me the entire time. La'oitzi la'or sifri ze Mesillas Yesharim. That allowed me to publish this sefer and bring it to the light of the public, called Mesillas Yesharim, the path of the just. Asher lihislamed b'chi bartiv. As the Ramchal wrote in the very beginning, I did this to teach myself, and I'll help others like me. And that's why I gave it over to the public, that they should be able to have it. I wrote it for myself, but I'm willing to share with others as well. Perhaps I'll merit that other people will become zeicha, meritorious through me. And they will attain goodness because of me, because of the works that I wrote over here. And then I will give nachas ruach, I'll give pleasure to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Now think about what the Ramchal is writing. We're talking about in the 1700s he wrote this sefer. So we're going back almost, it's almost 300 years old, this sefer. And the Ramchal, if he could only have imagined how many hundreds of thousands and millions of people would have learned from this sefer, would have learned from this book. This sefer was actually written in approximately 1735, when the Ramchal was a young man, somewhere between 25 and 30 years old. He was a young man when he wrote this. So we're nearly talking about 300 years ago. And the Ramchal says, I hope, as my wish, that as I learn this sefer and I give it over to other people, they should learn it, and perhaps they will become meritorious as a result of me. They'll improve their lives. Whose life has not been changed dramatically by the words of the Ramchal in Mesillas Yesharim? Which Baal Musar in the world, which yeshiva boy, which mother, which wife, which young man learning in yeshiva, which person, not even religious, has learned the Mesillas Yesharim, and there are nuggets of wisdom and inspiration that have changed their life, the way that they look at things. The Ramchal has literally impacted millions upon millions of people throughout all the generations, the last 300 years. The greatest sages of all time gave the most magnificent accolades to this sefer, telling everyone that this is the book that you must learn and you must read and you must review it again and again and again to understand what it means to be a Yid, to be a Jew that follows in the pathways of Hashem. So the Ramchal, in his humble way over here, he was a giant of a person. He must have known how lofty the work Mesillas Yesharim was. And yet in his humility he says, I hope that perhaps, perhaps, other people will gain from this sefer over here, and it will be a schus for me as well. And it will be a nachas ruach, it will be pleasure to the Rabbi Shalom. And says the Ramchal, referring to the fact that he was on the run, he was misunderstood where he was in Italy. People thought that he was saying things and purporting ideas of Kabbalah and of mysticism that were beyond his years, but they didn't understand who the Ramchal was, and so he was forced to flee Italy. And he ended up where he was from, that was his homeland. He ended up seeking refuge in Amsterdam, where he ended up writing the Mesillas Yesharim. So he says, I will find solace in the land of Taluvais, which is the land of travails. Literally, he was having a rough time. V'ekra Shema Rechoivais, and then I can call this place Rechoivais, a reference to the biblical place where Yitzchak ended up making a covenant with the Plishtim, and he made new wells called Rechoivais. He widened it to give him space. And over here, the same thing the Ramchal is saying, I should have space. I should have the freedom to be able to plumb the depths of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's Torah without being haggled and hacked by everybody around me. Ken Yoyma Hashem lo seis chelki b'seirosai me'HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Give me my portion in the Torah. Lilma ulalamei lishma v'lasais, to learn, and to lalame, to teach, and lasais, and to perform and to keep. V'chetzai b'yoda yatzliach, and it may be Hashem's wish will be realized through me, that I'll have the schus to give over his Torah and Avodas Hashem to the world. Amen. Ken Yirotzain, may it be Hashem's will. And then the Ramchal finishes his final statements over here. Nothing about himself, nothing about the Sefer. All he wants to express is Hakaras HaTov, his gratitude. Who says, Shua is chen mimeni. I have to give praise over here of chen, of grace. Yisa ish asher bilvavi, and I'm going to give this grace, I'm going to give this gratitude to a person who is after my own heart, medushasi uven garni, someone who is cherished. Atar l'roishi, who has been a crown to my head, v'chaisem al yad yamini, he's been like a signet ring on my right hand. Zedoidi v'zerei, he is my beloved, he is my dear friend. Rebbe alufi miyudai, he's my teacher, he's my guide, he is my comrade. Halayhu achacham hanale kavod marino arav Rabbi Yaakov ben kavod Rabbi Avram Basan Notre Rachmana Uparke. He said this is talking about the great and esteemed sage, my honorable master, whose name was Rabbi Yaakov, who was the son of Rabbi Avram Basan. And he said Hashem should guard him and protect him. Hashem nichnas bi'avyu shel koira. He entered into the thickness of this great burden of making Mesillas Yesharim what it is. So I should finish it from the beginning and take it to the end. He helped me with the printing, with the proofreading. He completed the work so that it would look in the most perfect form that it could possibly be in. I also am grateful to his associate. And he himself deserves many praises. He is the most diligent, and he's a tremendous proofreader. He was very quick with his work. He sits in a lofty place amongst the wise. And who is this? Rabbi Dovid, he had another proofreader over here, Rabbi Dovid, who was the son of Rabbi Rafa Mildoila, and Hashem should protect him. Yavarech Hashem Chelam Upal Yedayim. Hashem should bless them and their handiwork. Bechol Asher Yifnu Yaskilu, wherever they turn, Hashem should help them succeed. Simchas Olam Tilahem, may their joy be everlasting. Yizbu Banim Yinichu Yisraim. Yisraim, let them be satisfied with their children, and they should have what to be able to give over to the next generation. And then he concludes the final words, Koi Divrei HaTza'ir. These are the words of the Tza'ir, of the youth, the young man. Moshe is talking about himself, Moshe Chaim Lutzatoi, ben Kvod Rabbi Yaakov Chai, the son of the honorable Rabbi Yaakov Chai, Lutzatoi Seifei Tov, may his destiny be good. And with that, we conclude almost a full year, I believe, of learning the Mesillas Yesharim together. It's quite an accomplishment, and Baruch Hashem, we take it with us into Yom Kippur. We show HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we're learning the Sefer that has been acclaimed for all generations as the guidebook and the handbook to Avodas Hashem. It should be a schus for us that we're showing the Rebbeinu Shalom that we are ready this year, Taf Shin Pei Beis, to be on the greatest level of Avodas Hashem that we've ever been on before. Mazel Tov to everyone. Be'ezras Hashem, we will start a new Sefer after Sukkot. We'll try to have some learning that has to do with Yom Kippur and Sukkot and the like. And after Sukkot, Be'ezras Hashem Yisbarach, we will start a new Sefer together. Have a wonderful day. Gemar Chasima Tova. Mazel Tov on this great accomplishment. All the best.